would be outside of the realm of possibility. But I just want you to imagine, feel that note card in your hand, think about how thick it is right now, and you're going to fold it on top of itself 100 times, fold it in half. I want you to write down the number in height. How tall do you think that note card would be? Imagine you're going to set it on the floor right in front of you. How tall would the top of that note card be if you folded it 100 times? So for those of you that thought it would be a foot, you're just a little bit off, because if you fold that piece of paper in half approximately 10 times, you'll be at about a foot, somewhere in that range, okay? So if you thought 10 rather than 100, you would be right. When we get to 20 or 23, you will be approximately 1 mile high. So you would have your card in the ground and it would reach 1 mile into the air. When you get to 30 folds, the card would be from the floor and it will reach over 100 miles into space, about 169.5 miles to be correct. When you get to 42 folds, 42, we're not even halfway, you know where it reaches? It would touch the surface of the moon after 42 folds. And I know this sounds totally unbelievable, but you can get your phone out right now and do the math, and you will say to you, if you have an iPhone, can't use it in vertical form, you have to turn it horizontal, because once you get to 30, the number is so large that even the iPhone can't display it properly on the display. Once we get to 81 folds, the distance from the top to bottom of your card would stretch the distance of the Milky Way. And once we get to 100 folds, your card would be 93 billion light years from one end to the other. Unless you're a string theory mathematician, physicist of some sort, you might be able to wrap your head around that number, but I have a firm belief that none of us in this room can right now. 93 billion light years is the distance that your card would stretch had you been able to fold it 100 times. Right? So I know it's really hard to believe, but all you have to do is, I figure that 100 note cards is about an inch tall. So you just put 0.01, multiply by 2, and hit the equal sign 100 times on your phone. Just do it in your spare time, not right now, and see what comes up. And you will be amazed at that number. 93 billion light years, so light is pretty fast, I think we know, right? It takes light 8 minutes to get from the sun to the earth. So now we go 93 billion more of those years or units, and we're talking about a number that we can't imagine. So here's the point. Eureka ideas are wonderful, right? Aha, I get it. Big, bold, brand new. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Edison, Ford, right? Oh, boom, change the world. But guess what? Our businesses, most of them they do just what we did right there. We fold, and we fold, and we fold, and we take small steps and make incremental changes. That's the difference, and that's really what I'd like you to think about. So when we build our business through ideas, through better ideas, the idea here is not to necessarily change directions every day, but more like a basketball player. You're going to keep your foot planted on what your core values are, and you're going to pivot. You're just going to pivot a little bit. And when we make those pivots and those small changes, we start to see some significant change. That little fold turns into something really powerful over time. As I mentioned, 17 years ago, didn't know if we could afford the 12-pack of paper. We pivoted a few times at my business, and now we measure, instead of dollars or tens of dollars or thousands of dollars and millions of dollars in our business. And that's how we've been able to be successful, because we focus on building through better ideas. The second concept here is building through a better reputation. And I need your help once again by giving me a thumbs up, a thumbs sideways, or a thumbs down. When I say, let's say Lance Armstrong, if you think he has a good reputation, give me a thumbs up. If you think, I'm sort of neutral, give me a sideways or a thumbs down. Lance Armstrong has not done very well on the reputation scale lately. Let's take another one. Ryan Lochte. What do we think about Ryan Lochte? Pretty clear example. We've got neutral or down again. So those are a couple of gentlemen that had reputations that were pretty good, right? In fact, they've got millions of dollars worth of endorsements, tens of millions of dollars, and they've lost that. They've lost a lot of that. One of the things, I struggle with Lance Armstrong, right? Because he tried to do some good things and fight against cancer and his foundation and all those other pieces, right? But the challenge here, something I'd like you to think about from building your business through a better reputation, is that if your reputation is not built on the truth, if your reputation is not built on integrity, then it's really easy to have that reputation crumble, right? Lance Armstrong had an awesome reputation. People loved the fact that he was a champion, that he was a winner, he was a comeback champ, right? I mean, he had cancer and survived and went on to win and win and win, started this foundation, he had so much going for him, and then the drug test came, and his reputation went straight down into the toilet because his reputation was not actually built on truth and integrity. So as you reach out to your customers, as you partner with other businesses, as you build your relationships, I think it's really important for us to think about reputation and where we stand and where we want to be. Anyone ever go into a gas station and on the counter, you see little tiny colorful bottles and they say 5-hour what? 5-hour energy. Minosh is the creator of 5-hour energy. And what you'll find out about this man is that his reputation for the 5-hour energy drink is not one that he wants to retire on. It's not one that he's particularly proud of. He's very wealthy because of it. He's a billionaire. He has $5 to $10 billion of worth, one of the richest men in the world, and he did it by producing little tiny bottles of caffeinated juice that we drink to stay awake when we're on the road or when we study for our college exams. But Manoj is now redefining his reputation. So he's taking that billions and billions, those billions of dollars, and he's putting it into clean energy. He's putting it into clean water, and he's helping people around the world with his money in a way that a lot of our billionaires are doing now. They realize they can't take that money with them. And so part of that again is my challenge to you, as you think about your reputation being built on integrity and being genuine. If somebody wants to become a member of our Focus family, and that's what we call all of our trainers, we first look to their integrity, and second, they need to be genuine. I will not hire a trainer to stand in front of an audience who's going to be like, hey, listen to me, I'm the coolest person in the world, right? I'm not going to do that. I want to find somebody who's able to come up and put their hand on their shoulder and look them in the eye and have a genuine conversation with that person. That's really important to us at Focus Training, and I hope it's important to you in your business. I found it to be a very successful form of business in the way that we work. Now, your business may be manufacturing, it may be insurance, it may be lots of different things, but I think that's a pretty universal statement. So, as we build through better reputations, remember, a reputation is from the outside looking in. These are your customers, these are your end users. They don't really know who you are very often, right? So most of my interactions on the front end are with a client. So I have to get the contract signed and work out all the details, and then I have short bursts of time where I get to interact with audiences like you. And I try to put the same amount of integrity and energy and continuity into the messaging, no matter who I'm talking with, and that's what I challenge our trainers to do. And that's simply my challenge to you. When people are on the outside looking in, what is your reputation? Is it something that you're proud of or something that you're not? I sat in a great workshop today. It was about branding and marketing. I don't know if either of those folks are in here, but they were sending some very clear messages, and if you were in that room, they talked about the outward brand, what people saw, what they thought when they looked at your logo, and those types of things. The third piece that I want to talk with you about today is basically the outside looking in, and that's building our business through better relationships. It's not what you know, but who you know. And it's also, there's another part to that. The next part is who knows you, right? You can know a lot of people, but if they don't know who you are, it's hard to leverage that relationship, right? So when you can become a resource to somebody, when you are their go-to person for legal advice, when you are their go-to person for baked goods, when you are their go-to person for whatever it is, that means they know you. And now you've become a valuable resource in their life. And so building those relationships starts with a good reputation, but it has to go well beyond that, doesn't it? We have to constantly communicate with our customers and our clients. We have to be genuine in our communication with our customers and our clients and our partners. And so this idea of building better through communication and through relationships is something I want us to test out right now. I want you to go down the line, and person all the way to the right, you are going to be person A, so you're A, B, C. Some of you have groups of 4, you'll be A, B, C, and D. Here's your job. If you are person B, I would like you to interlock your hands so that your fingers are together like so. We're not going to pray right now. If you want to, you can, I guess, but you're just going to lock your fingers in like so. Only person B is going to do this. And person B, your job is to keep your hands in this formation as long as you can, okay? Persons A and C, you have a different job. You need to grab a hold of that person's elbows or arms. And your job is going to be to separate person B's hands. Now there are some rules that you need to follow. Rule number 1 is you are not allowed to inflict any pain on your partner. You can't punch them or stomp on their foot or something like that. Rule number 2 is you are not allowed to tickle your partner. Some of you were thinking it, yes. Rule number 3 is you are not allowed to touch your partner's hand as you try to separate, so you can't peel their fingers back one by one and try to get them to do it. And rule number 4, the final rule is you must remain in your seat as you pull and try to separate your partner's hand. So you can't like put your foot up and pry back on them as you're attempting to do this. All right. So I'm going to count to 10, and B's, your job is to keep those hands locked in for that 10 count. If they do, you give them a high five and say good job. And A and C, don't take it easy on them. Come on, this is a competition right here. We're entrepreneurs, we like to win, all right? Here we go. Get ready to pull. On your marks, get set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Give them a round of applause or a high five. Very good. When I think about this exercise, at least in this instance, everyone go ahead and put your hands back together and look down. And what you'll see, if you could imagine seeing through your skin right now, you're going to see tiny little muscles in your hands, right? Very dissimilar in a lot of ways from your biceps and your chest and your quads and all these muscles. Very tiny little muscles, but yet when they work together, when they work in unison, they are so powerful. This is one of the hardest, positions. If you were a wrestler in college or high school, you know that you can lock in like this or you can lock in like this, and it's very difficult for your opponent to do anything against you. That is coordination in a way that I think entrepreneurs really need to embrace. I think of this as communication. I think of it as the glue that really holds our teams together. When we communicate effectively with our clients, with our customers, with our partners, with our employees, it really makes things go so much better for us. At Focus Training, we try to communicate before a program, during a program, after a program. How many of you are using social media right now for your business? So we're using communication on so many levels today, right? We're a connected society, and those connections really make a difference in our lives. So if we're trying to build a better business, one of the ways we can do it is through effective communication. Everybody take your hands now and go like this and kind of rub them together. And there aren't many things in this world that I think have an equal and opposite effect, but communication is one of them in my mind. This is the other form communication takes. Not to say you have greasy hands, but it's the lubricant that keeps things moving along when things aren't going very well. So we use communication at high times when things are going well, when our inventory levels are high. We do this exercise called Rocks in the River, and we use it to satisfy our customers, to promote our businesses, to do all the great things we want to do, but we also use it to diffuse problems. And so rather than put them up and duke it out, we communicate like adults. And have any of you ever had disagreements with your clients, with your customers, with your employees? Okay? We do full-day trainings, or mostly full-day trainings, on critical conversations, the difficult conversations that we need to have when we're in leadership positions. It's not easy to tell somebody that something as simple as they have a booger hanging out of their nose, right? It's really gross, but that's one of the scenarios we put in the critical conversations, more for fun than anything else. But a conversation like you're not performing to the best of your ability, or you let the team down in this way and it can't happen again for this reason. So communication is both the glue that holds us together and it's the lubricant that keeps things moving along when things aren't going very well. So my challenge to you as you build your business and building better is to build through better ideas. We have our eureka moments that we want to hang on to. We want to have our small, hard-folding little ideas that turn into something very special. The second way we can build a successful business is by building a good reputation. And that good reputation is built on trust, it's built on integrity, it's built over time. Our third way that we can build a successful business is by communicating actively with our customers, our clients, our employees, all the folks that are connected to us and a stakeholder in some way. I am the kind of person who loves building. I built my own garage, a 3-stall garage. Last summer I built a deck. It's about 700 square feet. Pretty proud of it. This summer I built some benches that go around a fire pit that are out in my backyard. And you know what I see every time I look at those objects? I'm the kind of guy who likes to move on to the next project. And so here's what I see. I see a cut that's a little bit off sometimes. I see a screw that was put in the wrong spot. I see when my roofer came to put the shingles on the roof, he's like, I don't know about this carpenter. This thing isn't very square. I don't know what's going on. But you know what? I noticed some of those things. And that's okay. Like when we build something for ourselves, it's going to be flawed. Your business is not going to be perfect. My business is not perfect. And I look at those cuts, I look at those misplaced screws, and I say, I did that. And I learn from it the next time. I do a little bit better the next time. I build it better by making mistakes. So we learn from our mistakes, we fail fast, and we move on to the next. But I also, just like this gentleman said, have a strong sense of pride. When I sit on that bench and warm my hands by that fire, I'm like, this is a really good bench. I like this bench, right? So it gives us that sense of pride and accomplishment. And I think that's important for us to recognize. You could have somebody else do it for you, but you can do it yourself. Now, I don't recommend when you have a successful business that you focus on things that are not your core business. I hire somebody to clean our office. I don't scrub the toilets anymore unless they really need it, right? I don't, unless we have visitors coming. So there are certain ways that we segment. We hire designers. We hire people that can do their jobs really well, so I can focus on building focused training into the business that it is today. I'm going to wrap up with a poem. It's not my own. So to wrap things up, I want to say thank you very much for your time and attention, and I'll leave you with this final thought. I watched them tearing a building down, a gang of men in a busy town, with a ho, heave, ho, and a gusty yell. They swung a beam and the sidewall fell. And I asked the foreman, are these people skilled? Is this the team you'd hire if you had to build? The foreman laughed and said, no, indeed, for common labor is all I need. I could easily wreck in a day or two what it has taken builders years to do. And I thought to myself as I went on my way, which of these roles have I tried to play? Am I a wrecker who walks the town, content with the business of tearing things down? Or am I a builder who's proud to say, look here at what I have built today? Build your better businesses. Thank you very much for your time and attention. It's been a pleasure, everybody. Thanks.
But Julie is with us. Julie just arrived. She just finished a concurrent session, so I bet you're tired. Julie, welcome to your alma mater, Marietta College. Julie is, I had to honestly shorten her bio 10 times, not 10 times, okay, honestly 5 times, so that it would fit in a short period of time. Because this woman, this young woman, this young lady, my former student, has done so much in her life. It's amazing. I'm so proud of you, Julie. Julie is the North American Wellness Lead for Accenture, a global Fortune 500 company, CEO and owner of 7 studios, a yoga and fitness studio. Published author of the 7 Life Miracles, a life coach, a motivational speaker, and an entrepreneur, owning several companies, including aromatherapy product lines. I like to know more about that stuff. And an online life coaching series and a public speaking academy. Her latest company, that's very interesting. If you have dogs, you're interested. She has launched a Fetch and Sculpt. Includes a workout app designed to allow dog owners and their dogs to work out together. That's fun. I may get a dog. Maybe that will force me to work out. Julie has appeared on many television shows, has been featured in numerous magazines, has spoken and presented across the globe, including the White House, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, TED Talk, various national health conferences, International Women's Day, and the U.S. Department of Defense. Recently, Julie was selected as one of 25 remarkable women from Role Model magazine, and one of 12 women you should know if you live in Central Ohio by the Women for Economic and Leadership Development organization. Julie was selected as one of Fitness magazine's top champions of health and wellness. She was named as 40 Under 40 award winner. Julie has a master's degree in education, exercise psychology from the Ohio State University, and a bachelor's degree in international business at Marietta College. Please join me in welcoming Julie. Do you want to come to the podium or be down there?
All right, so thank you so very much, and I'm so privileged to be here on Marietta campus. I had to just take a deep breath when I walked onto campus today. I actually had out my phone and was doing a little video just talking about what this campus means to me and what a gift it is to be here and share in this final talk today with you. This campus, I always attribute Marietta as the place where I found my voice. Prior to coming to Marietta, I probably was like a lot of people coming out of high school, a bit awkward, uncomfortable in my own skin, not really sure about anything. And being here, the support system I had, and the opportunities I had, and I would even say the ability to fail without worry, being able to take chances and try things without worrying about the outcome was such a privilege because it helped me to define who I was, what I wanted to be when I grow up, which I'm still figuring out. But in the end, I always attribute back to Marietta really was that life changer for me that allowed me to progress forward and live into the life that I have today. So let me tell you a little bit about that through this talk, The Power of Purpose in Life and Work. So first of all, we'll go back a little bit. So Dr. Khorsani so wonderfully called me young lady. I just turned 40 this year, so I don't know if that moves me into a different category. I think young professionals, okay, define that the young professional definition stops at 40, but I'll still take the young label. But when I was born, I had a heart defect so severe, the doctors actually pronounced me dead at birth. You see, when my mom was 7 months pregnant with me, she went hiking. And when she went hiking, she picked a patch of wildflowers. And she took a big inhalation, only to find that day that in the middle of those beautiful wildflowers, she had picked a patch of poison ivy. And that day, she learned that she was toxically allergic to poison ivy. And she had just systemically inhaled something that was toxic to her system. It attacked the fetus immediately. It damaged the umbilical cord, and from 7 months on, I didn't get the proper nutrition needed. At 10 months, so any of you who are familiar with the gestational process know that that is an extra month. At 10 months, the doctors told my mom that she was losing weight, they couldn't find a heartbeat, and they thought that I had passed away in the womb. They said they would take me by cesarean section and pronounce me dead. So, on the last day of the year, 1975, they took me by cesarean section and pronounced me dead. 9 minutes passed, and after all resuscitation efforts stopped, my heart started to beat on its own. They gave me to my mother, and my heart would beat strongly. The minute they take me away to try to give me some support, my heart would stop again. And so the doctors made notes in their records, which I've read so many times throughout my life now, that whenever my mom was near, I showed signs of thriving. But as soon as she was gone, I didn't show signs of thriving. And I believe there's an incredible power to our relationships that can outweigh anything that science or medicine can tell us. And that's not to put down science or medicine because they're incredibly powerful things. But there's things that we can't explain that relationships and human touch can. And so the doctor said that I was very sick, that even though I was showing signs of trying to survive, there was no way. My heart looked like equivalent of Swiss cheese, and that they expected I would live minutes. So those minutes turned into hours. Those hours turned into days, and those days turned into weeks. And those weeks turned into months. And at 6 months, the doctors wrote miracle across my charts. So this is actually a drawing from my doctor of my heart. Hard to really comprehend what he was writing, but pretty much what he was saying is the heart looks like Swiss cheese. As it's pumping blood out, it's spraying blood in all directions. It's not sending blood through her system the way it should be. So there's no way that she'll be able to sustain life for long. And the parts of her heart that are working are overcompensating for the parts of her heart that don't. And so she's going to wear her heart out very quickly. And so they told my mom that it was a miracle, that at 6 months I was still alive. They couldn't explain it, only by the chance that it was a miracle. And so that's the first time the word miracle came into my life and has remained with me ever since. So at 3 years old, the doctors did a cardiac catheterization, which is to determine the health of the heart. And as they did that, they said that the heart was still overcompensating, that I had a very thick left ventricle wall trying to push really hard because the rest of the heart had holes in it, the valves were leaky, damaged, I had some prolapse going, anything that a heart could be malfunctioning seemed to be happening. And so they told my mom that they expected that my heart had aged itself to about the age of an 80-year-old heart at the age of 3. So they wouldn't expect that I would live to be much into my teenage years, that if they did the math correctly, that they thought that I might live to be about 12. So I grew up knowing that I had limited time. And I think that when you know that you have limited time, life changes. I think that when you know you have limited time, things that you put off, conversations that are hard to have, things that you want to do become more urgent. And I like to say that I grew up learning to live urgently, because I knew when I went out on recess with my friends that I had this secret. I didn't tell any of them about it, but I knew that my life was going to be shorter than theirs. So all the things that they were going to do their whole life, I had a very short window to try to do. So I grew up having a lot of fun, because that's what I knew my life